There we go.
There we go.
All right, let's try that again. Welcome to another edition of TheCOM News Live. Um, I'm Dustin and my partner Kirk, and we are going to talk about compatibility today. So we try to make these around where we get a lot of questions, each of these episodes, and this one we get a lot of questions about this. So what we're going to start with, probably the thing that is the most asked about around compatibility is, will your competitors' headsets work with your system? So the scenario is somebody's over the years, they've accumulated a couple of headsets, maybe from a previous system or whatever, and they're expensive, and so it's like, hey, I'd really not have to buy it a second time if I can use these. It seems like they should work. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So first thing we're going to pull up here is this. Say, Kirk, so what do you want? Do you want to say anything about this?
So
what am I looking at?
That's a 3.5 millimeter plug. It's a standard plug for like your headsets in your phones. It's a very standard for like MP3 players and stuff like that. We went after that same plug, and the reason why we went after that plug is because they're very affordable. There's a lot on the market, right? So instead of making a proprietary plug like a Nexus plug or an off-road plug, we went after the 3.5 millimeter because we needed stereo. So being stereo, you need 4 pins to make ours work. You need a left speaker and a right speaker. That's what makes it stereo. You need the mic to be able to talk into, and then you need a ground. And so the TRRS 3.5 millimeter just fit the bill. Perfect. So that's why we went with the TRRS cable.
Okay. So there's a lot of other plugs that look the same. They look very similar. I know
the Nexus plug looks the same, but if you look at it, it's a lot fatter.
Yeah, it's a fatter one.
It's a larger diameter. So when I talk about the diameter, when you look, around this thing, it would be a lot thicker than that 3.5 millimeter. They're a lot fatter, even though they look the same. So.
Yep. And so the number of black rings on it matters. You can see on this one, ours has got 3 black rings, 4 spaces in between, which means there's 4 wires, because each of those black rings are an insulator. And there's 2 different standards for these plugs too. So we went with OMP.
OMP, I think, is what the standard we went with. So, and then there's an MITP or something like that standard as well.
Yeah. So one is like what your headphones work for your cell phone, and then one is, what was the other one for?
The other one was made by like Nextel. So they had a Nextel plug, and they started theirs, and then Android had one, or Apple had another standard, and everything's kind of shifted over to the Apple or iPhone or the standard, but we had the Nexus or the Nextel standard, which is I think the OMTP standard, I think is what it is. So
okay, so if you want to take your headphone or your headset of our headset and plug it into your cell phone headphone jack, you're going to need a converter. We have a little converter that you can put on there that will switch it from one standard to the other.
Yep.
So so that you can do that.
So you could plug it into your cell phone and use it for a headset, your earplugs for your cell phone if you wanted to, but you have to switch over. There's a conversion between the mic and the ground. It swaps.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do it while you were working, put your big headsets on when you're working, and
when you're mowing the lawn.
I was thinking do a Zoom call with it on. Like how people have the work headphones.
Yeah,
that's what I should do.
Yeah, you should go to work and
put one of those things on for
put
work.
This sucker on.
They've got their
I'm
work.
ready. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I think
do it. I'm going to
do it.
I'm going to do that. That would be really fun.
Go into your conference call. Make sure your boss is on the line.
I will. I absolutely will. I'm going to do that. So anyways, the other issue you have, even if we wanted to make these things work with adapters, is that ours has got, as you can see on this, it's got 2 speaker wires. This is the stereo. This is what stereo does. And other systems don't have that. Their headphone jack's not wired. I mean, their headset isn't wired that way. Our whole system is wired with that second wire for the speakers, and they don't have that.
Yeah.
So
the off-road plug does have 3 insulators. It looks a lot like our jack, but 2 of those insulators are actually a ground. One's a ground for the mic and one's a ground for the speaker. So there's actually 2 grounds on the off-road plug. So that's why it's not a stereo plug.
Right. So we get a lot of people wanting to do that. We don't have an adapter that will connect the 2 together. I can't think of any time that I have ever seen a customer successfully adapt our system to other headsets.
There's another thing that's people don't realize too is our mics. Our mics are tuned to different ohms as well. You get an ohms reading on there, and some have got a higher ohms reading than others. So some will run like 100 or 200. Others will run 500. Some people will run 300. It just matters, and you can still run them. It's just one's going to have to be higher volume than the other. So that's if you do match the pin outs and stuff like that, you still can have compatibility issues that way, where you're thinking, oh, why do I have to run on volume 10 for this headset?
Yeah.
But my competitors, I'm running like volume 15. So it's a tuning issue with the intercom as well. So
yeah, so lots of technical barriers to overcome to do something that seems like it should be very simple to do. So I've never seen anybody pull it off.
Yep. If
So
you want to pull at the back of the intercom real quick,
is it
right there? You had it.
This one?
Yep.
All right.
The other thing we had is we made everything a 3.5 millimeter. So across the board, your PTT, your radio, audio out, all 4 headsets, your audio in are all 3.5 millimeters. This also makes sense with the board too, for the board spacing. I think I've got a board here that I can show you too. So if you look how small those are on the board. So if we use the off-road plugs, all these are the pins for the 3.5 millimeters. Those pins would be a lot larger if we use like the helicopter plug, which is the big 6 or 1/4 inch plug. It takes up a lot more space on the board. So our goal is to keep this thing as compact as possible too. So
yep. So really we're talking about, like Rugged and PCI headsets, being able to use those. So, this is a long answer of no, it's not going to work. No. So anyway, let me go over here to, I haven't monitoring the chat. Oh, no chat messages. So lucky me. What else? Is there anything else we need to address on that?
As far as theirs compatible with ours, if you try to get the pinouts right, I mean, you can match pins, but then you lose the stereo sound. And again, sometimes the mics don't match up with the ohms as well. So again, the long answer, it's difficult to get these things to be compatible with each other. So.
Specialty equipment.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
that's really what you want to just take a minute and talk about that today.
Yep.
So looks like we had a light audience today. So with that, we will let you go until next time.
All right.
Oh,
just tuned in. Oh.
I'll give you a little airtime there,
Daryl. Just tuned in. So yes, hi Daryl. So we just finished up. So you're gonna have to probably watch the rerun. So.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Take care, guys.